Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I will be going over my thoughts on the UFC Qatar card, the main event and the co-main event being announced for this card. Obviously, it's going to be Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker in the main event, with the co-main event being Bilal Muhammad versus Ian Machado Gary. Very interesting fights here, but as I was looking at the rest of this card, I just want to talk about this. Like, this is one of the best put together, matchmaking-wise, fight night cards I've seen in a very long time, dude. Like, this card is fucking stacked, man. First thing I want to talk about is Bekzat Al-Bakhan versus Alexandre Topuria. Dude, I'm low-key scared for Alexandre Topuria, man. I'm, like, kind of worried for the guy, because I think when you look at Bezcat, right, he was completely dominated by Umar Nurmagomedov, right? But still, he was able, in the first 3 seconds, he was able to land a knockdown on Umar, and he is the only guy in UFC history that can say that they've knocked down Umar Nurmagomedov. So he has serious punching power, and we saw that also in the Brad Katona win, where he was able to finish him with like 8 strikes, and uppercut, ground and pounding him, and beating him by TKO in the first minute. So I'm low-key worried for Alexander Topuria, especially when when you look back at the Colby Thickness performance, and how Thickness was able to kind of rally in the very last rounds, and how he's looked in his last fight just recently. I think that leaves a lot to be worried about if you're Alexander Topuria. I'd almost have to pick Bekzat to win this fight, honestly, dude. Like, I don't know. We'll see if Alexander's able to get through him. That's a very impressive win, and maybe that would be a good time to hop on the bandwagon of his, but. For now, I'm gonna have to go with Bekzat to win this fight. Probably. It's really interesting. The rest of these prelims are like this card from here, bro. Like, they're cooking with fucking like oil here, man. This is insane. Felipe Lima versus Daniel Marcos is fucking unhinged, dude. These are two up and coming bantamweight guys that are coming off big losses and looking for the rebound of their career. Daniel Marcos was looking fantastic, one of the best bantamweights from the season 6 of Contender Series before he lost to Montel Jackson. So now he's looking for a rebound against Felipe Lima, who was also undefeated before losing to Peyton Talbot. And so now the question is of who is going to be able to get to that next step again, who's going to have that bounce back after a loss. Both guys coming off a loss here. Fantastic stuff here to book, man. Up next, Alex Perez versus Azu Almabayev. Holy shit, dude. This is insane. Alex Perez is he's a very gatekeeper of the flyweight division here. So for Azu Almabayev, this would be a really impressive win if he's able to get it. I'm going to look at his record right now real quick. Yeah, he's only lost to Manel Kape in the UFC. Ode Osborne, that's a good win. Cedric, that's a good win. Matthias Nicolau was a good win. I don't know about that one, but to beat to only lose to Manel Kape, and now he's getting your chance against Alex Perez, dude. Like, that's a really, really good fight, a really intriguing one. Can't wait to see how that one plays out. Main event in the prelims is Abdul Rahman Yakayev versus Ralveia Cerqueira. Abdul looked pretty decently in this recent Contender Series, this ongoing Contender Series season. He's getting his first fight here now against Rafael Cerqueira, which if he is Security's on a 3-fight losing streak, right? But if you look at the names of his losses, it's not the worst. It's Ibo Aslan, who I'll be honest, I thought was up next until he wasn't. Modestas Bukauskas, which is again that's a fine win, and then Julius Walker is also pretty decent. So if Abdul Rahman Yakayev is able to put his name amongst these guys, that is a good trajectory for his career. If he loses this fight, that looks pretty bad, because I don't think. No, he hasn't even won a fight in the UFC yet, so it's really important for Abdul Rahman to win this fight. But if he does win this fight, he puts himself amongst a good list of talent. So we'll have to see how he does in this fight. Again, super intrigued to see how this fight plays out, dude. Opening up the main card is fucking Kyoji Horiguchi. This man is back, and he's fighting Tagir Erlenbekov, bro. This is an insane fucking fight to give a guy. Because look at these losses, man. Fucking Tim Elliott. That's it in the UFC. He's beaten Bruno Silva. He's beaten Clayton Carpenter. Like, I'm getting tongue twisted just thinking about how fucking exciting I am to watch this fight and see Kyoji Horiguchi come back and try to retain his spot amongst the top of the flyweight division, dude. This is an awesome fight to make, man. This is such a cool one. And, to give him, like, such a young, talented guy that's still trying to prove himself again within the flyweight division is super, super good matchmaking here. Speaking of good matchmaking, Volkan Ozdemir versus Alonzo Menefield. Oh my god, man. I've never seen a match more perfectly made for it. Like, it just makes sense, man. Like, when they were making these cards, when they were putting these together, they probably had the most insane, like, eureka moments when they realized that Volkan Ozdemir and Alonzo Menefield aren't booked for anything. They're like, it just makes sense. It just makes sense to put these two guys next to in a fight against each other, man. How is Ozdemir doing? I low-key might have to go with Ozdemir to win this fight. He's coming off an Olberg loss, no big deal. Though Johnny Walkerman was very impressive. What has Menefield been doing? I think his stock has tanked a little bit. Carlos Azamat, those aren't bad losses. So neither guy has had really, like, bad losses in the last couple of their fights, so I will be intrigued. I will be very intrigued to see who comes away with this, because I do think whoever does come away from this fight is on a very good trajectory in the light heavyweight division. Okay, this one is crazy. Jack Hermansson versus Midabek Oralbai. What a fucking step up in competition for Muktabek, bro. I like to go from, like, beating Tariq, what's his name again? It was Tawfiq Musayev to Jack Hermansson is I think is crazy. That's like going from, like, a fucking tricycle to a fully fledged motorcycle, dude. I think, like, Hermansson still has some, like, name credibility. Like, he is still, like, he is older, but I do think he still has a lot to prove in the division. Except, however, though, it took me a second to even realize this too, because I was like, wait a minute, this is Oralbai doesn't fight in, like, middleweight division. What the fuck? He fights in lightweight. Hermansson is going down in welterweight, and Mudabek is coming up to lightweight. So, again, you have that playing together too, where you have Mudabek now finally going up a division, Hermansson going down, cutting even more weight. So we'll see how this plays out, man. I'm very excited about that. And then the GOAT is back. The GOAT is back, ladies and gentlemen. Shamil Gaziev versus Sergey Spivak. What the fuck has Sergey Spivak even been up to, bro? I can't even remember. He lost to WCA, that's right. And then he lost to Almeida. So he's, like, he's in a better, he's more of a gatekeeper than Tybura is, because he's beaten him. I think, I don't know who's going to win this fight, yo. I like this, again, I like this matchmaking. I'm so intrigued to see who wins this fight. I'm curious as hell. I can't even make a prediction right now. I'd have to look into it a bit more, but I might lean towards Shamil, bro. I might have to. It's only 3 rounds. Spivak is Spivak. I might have to. And then, yes, so the last 2 fights, Bilal Muhammad versus Ian Machado Gary. I can't believe Ian Gary's accepting a co-main event fight night card spot. I think I have to go Ian Machado Gary, man. These last 2 fights we've seen him at were both short notice. He's looked good. He's looked dominant. He's looked, very much in control against some promising guys. Again, I think, the Shavkat performance was really well from him. He looked really good, especially towards the end. So he has a really good card. Like, both these guys have really good cardio tanks. It's literally just going to come down to what kind of Bilal Muhammad we get. I'm trying to think of, like, what a post-title run Bilal Muhammad would really look like, dude. Now that he's, he's been champion. He has that pressure lifted off him. Now he's just trying to work his way back up. I just wonder if we're going to see more of, like, the one we got versus JDM, where he's just doing a bit more boxing and is just trying to, like, stand at range and just kind of box with the guy. Or if he's going to actually just go back to, the Muhammad of old and go for more takedowns and such, and more control on the ground. So, again, super intriguing fight. I am very curious. I think I have to lean towards Machado Gary to win this fight. And then this main event. Dude, long time no see, Arman Sarukian versus Dan Hooker. Unbelievable fight to make. Unfortunately, I do think Sarukian's going to win this pretty easily. Whether it just be, like, a dominating decision, like 50-45, or, he gets a knockdown and gets on top of him and ground and pound. But, Hooker's a tough son of a bitch. So, I think it'll probably be a 50-45 decision. Sarukian, it's hard to say how good he looks because it's been, like, 18 months since he's fought. But, again, another fight I'm super intrigued by. If Hooker wins this, holy shit, Hooker wins this. And that whole wait for Sarukian would be for nothing. Hooker would be up next for a title shot against Topuria. I would want to see that fight. I don't think he'd win. I don't even think he wins this fight. But if he does, then good for him, and I think he gets that spot. So from here on out, I want to watch I want to see MMA Guru's reaction to this card and just see what kind of opinions we get from him. So let's take a look at that.
What about Kamaru Usman? I feel like there's so many matchups these days with Bilal Muhammad and Diego Lopez where I'm thinking, where is Yair Rodriguez? Where is Kamaru Usman? The promo has been done for the UFC for these matchups.
That is true. I don't know, man. It's got to be like some stuff with the fighters themselves that are just like preventing that from happening. That being said, though, like Sean Brady versus Kamaru Usman is probably going to be the next fight. Then, if this has already been made, it's got to be Brady and Usman. What else? Who else? Shavkat comes back. Pfft.
And we're not
Against
getting
Brady.
Just engaging. I'm looking at you, buddy.
Ooh.
What are we doing?
He turned it
Gaethje,
down.
if you haven't got a fight with Paddy Pimblett booked for the December pay-per-view card, what are you actually doing? Like,
That's
I
true,
don't
man.
know what Gaethje's up to, but if he
That does raise questions, honestly, because like it's just those three right now. It's Gaethje, Pimblett, and Sarukian all looking to are like proclaimed to be up next, and so if they aren't willing to do that fight against each other to get that title shot, then like how does that make them look? Especially Gaethje. He's done all his complaining and such that he deserves the title shot, and I'm just wondering because it's like it's kind of like becoming a Yair Rodriguez situation where you think you're entitled to one, but you're not really willing to put in the effort of like actually showcasing that you are. I don't know, man. I think with those guys it's just super strange.
I would make this a 5-rounder.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Most fights should be 5 rounds, but 3
I think
rounds
this one.
I think does
Well, I
favor
mean,
Ian
dude,
Gary.
that's what I'm saying. Like this wasn't like just a fight night main event of its own. Like to have a co-main event to willingly take a 3-round fight against Bilal is like, I think that that says something about like the mentality that Ian Gary has going into this, and like how almost confident he might be to win this fight. And that does go for Bilal Muhammad too. Maybe he's like, I only need 3 rounds too. Which I guess in retrospect, when you're not really a finish guy, to add more rounds is like kind of so. To have a 3-round fight helps Bilal, but Gary might be pretty confident in himself to be able to get the win that way as well.
If Bilal Muhammad wants to push this pace or wants to get these volume takedowns off, I don't think it's going to work over 3 rounds as well as it will over 5 on a guy like Ian Gary. I reckon Ian Gary's got this in the bag. He is.
See, that's the thing, though. I don't think Bilal Muhammad realizes that. I think he's just looking at it like, 3 rounds, quicker pace for me. Just try to get these takedowns in as much as I can. And I don't have to worry about it as long.
Above Bilal Muhammad. The winner of this, if it's Ian Gary, I mean, they've kind of got to give him a title shot. Win over Carl.
It'll depend on if Islam stays in the division, because, like, who are the loser, right? The loser. I think the winner, if, Kamaru Usman, Sean Brady happens, then the winner of that can face Islam. And they won't really probably win that, so. I mean, Brady? No, I don't even want to.
And that's near impossible to deny. Shavkat hasn't shown up to work, and God knows, where's Shavkat? Where is everyone?
Oh, God. I'm waiting for this guy, Shavkat, to come back, man. I don't know what the fuck happened with him, either. Just nothing, dude. I'm definitely waiting for him to come back. Because I think he feels entitled to a title shot, but I don't think that's going to happen either. So, I want him to come back. So
where is everyone? What is left for Kamaru Usman? Who's probably going to start a podcast again and say, I'm next.
No!
I see all these matchups getting made, but
No!
I know my time will come where I'm up next for a title shot, and I'm thinking,
what the fuck?
What are you talking about, man?
Don't ruin all this goodwill, Kamaru,
Salal
please.
Saying he'll get a title shot off beating Josh Emmett. The culture that we have created.
The culture
is sad. Somebody needs to get in there and put their foot on these guys and say no.
Talk about this one as well. Whew. I'm gonna have to go Saint-Denis on this one, I think, bro. You know me, man. I just don't think Dariush has it anymore. It's old.
And it's also a light. I just find myself wondering sometimes with Dariush, how do I argue him to win? Because in this matchup,
no, very true. How do you? I don't know what you'd say. I don't know what you would say either. Like,
Dariush is I've got Ian Gary.
It's very definitive. It's nice to see like a kind of sort of definitive fight for Hooker. Like, you know, like, I don't want to say his career is a what if, but you know, but it always sucks seeing guys get just plagued with injuries, you know. So to have a fight like Sarukian, you know, not to put him in his place either, but to, like, you know, just to gauge, right? Just to gauge where he would be, is a good thing.
I think
That's gonna do it for me as well, guys. Those are my thoughts on UFC Qatar. Very, very excited to see that card. I'm very, very looking forward to that. Videos here, other UFC stuff, some stream highlights, video that YouTube would recommend, and then you can subscribe right here. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.